There you are. Assalam.
I,
See you now.
Wa alaikum assalam. Asif, thank you very much. And to everyone who said salam, wa alaikum assalam. So I was listening to your chit chat with the audience. So thank you for introducing me. And I'm glad that we're getting this opportunity. We do Zoom calls and Skype calls every day. These days, due to the lockdown, we're all working from home. It's interesting. Um, and you have kids running behind you. Sometimes you're having this distortion. I'm usually taking evening calls outside in the terrace. So there's vehicular movement, motorcycles moving, and then people ask me, "Why are you on the road?" And I'm like, "No, I'm next to the road." So I get to weird sounds come in. But that's the reality. We are all confined to our homes.
Absolutely.
And
Balki
it's a new way of living. It's actually a new way of living.
Yeah.
You were saying something.
कल बल्कि जो हमारे कल या परसों हमारी एक conversation हो रही थी. We were online. We had Adil Hassan with us from Amazon, who's a ex-colleague of ours. तो वो ये बता रहे थे at Amazon when they've now gone online, they have a no apologies policy. तो अगर आप वीडियो कॉल पे बैठे और आपका बच्चा आके रोना शुरू कर देता है सामने, तो everyone's been told कि we do not apologize. We understand कि भाई ये बिल्कुल ही नई एक दुनिया है और आपके लिए भी मुश्किल है और सब अभी टैकल करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं इसको. तो new world, Abubakr bhai, and one of the reasons that I really wanted Abubakr bhai to come here was that in my conversations with him after COVID-19 happened, I think I learned कि यार आपने पैरालाइज नहीं होना है. मेरी कॉन्वर्सेशन हुई थी अबू बकर भाई से एक आधे घंटे की, आई थिंक हमारी गुफ्तगू थी, एंड आई हर्ड सो मच अबाउट अच्छा हाउ डू वी टैकल थिंग्स, हम इस माहौल में भी कैसे बेहतर काम कर सकते हैं, हम कैसे अपनी कम्युनिटीज को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. आई मीन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ अमेजिंग वर्क दैट ऑनटेक्स इज डूइंग, एंड आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ दैट इज ड्यू टू योर एफर्ट्स एज वेल. आपने जो बताया था आप काम कर रहे थे WHO के साथ और इधर उधर. So before we go into the meat of HR or HR leadership, just a general overview of how has work been affected? How has it changed, Abubakr bhai?
Okay, to be honest, the first disruption came with a lockdown news when everything got on to a standstill. And companies like us, we were already preempting. We were already looking at things at the global level, and luckily we are a global company, so we had a lot of information of what was happening in Italy and in Spain and Europe, because we have our headquarters there, and even in Pakistan. So we had our radars on. We were looking around what was happening. Being in the healthcare, we are a healthcare company to a greater extent, especially in the European market. So we were tasked to make sure that we operate, to provide the products to the public, to the medical fraternity, to the paramedic staff. So we had a desire to continue to operate. But yes, again, due to the lockdown, we knew we will be asked by our regulatory authorities, by the government, to shut down. And most of us were shut down for a couple of days just to plan ourselves how we resume operations. The first struggle that most companies had was who weren't prepared was around what to do. Yeah. So the what to do part was we had already figured out. We knew we had to seek permission from the regulatory authorities. We had to take legal opinion on certain things. We had to make sure we make our people comfortable. So we never talked about anything that was seemingly negative, like pay cuts, like disruption in facilities and services. We made sure that we asked our people to take all the necessary precautions. As an employer and as human beings, we were able to understand that this requires isolation. This requires people to take personal precautions.
Yeah.
And we started communicating about that to our people. We had a lot of information coming from the group. We had a lot of information flowing in from the local government as well. Sindh, we all know, has been pretty active compared to other provinces. I'm sitting right now in Lahore, and I am interacting with the district and the provincial government here as well. And I've interacted with KPK and Balochistan and Islamabad deputy commissioner as well. And I realized everybody's praising Sindh. So I felt proud because over the last 10, 12 years, it's been very difficult to identify opportunities or areas where Sindh has actually demonstrated prudence and has come out as a winner. So I think they're taking full advantage of this, and this is practically the level of concern we should have in all areas, not just this COVID-19. But I'm happy that they are very active. What it helped us do is, frankly, we started to interact with all relevant corners. For example, the Chamber of Commerce. For example, the Employers Federation of Pakistan. For example, the WHO. For example, we interacted with our distributors. We had distributors who were working with pharma companies. So how were the pharma companies reacting to this? What do they do? Because we know pharma companies would operate, food companies would operate. So we started tapping into our networks. And all my colleagues, my senior colleagues, as well as my team members, we all started fishing out our contacts, talking to them, identifying what's happening. And then we started developing our own roadmap on how and what we will do. We had global guidelines as well. What was important is that we had to be ahead of the curve. What we tried to do is we tried to preempt and take steps accordingly. We were not reactive at all. To date, Alhamdulillah, we have aimed to be proactive in our approach. We have tried to identify where we could face hurdles, and we've tried to cover them through all legitimate means. So one of the key ingredients was to maintain the motivation level and the sanity of the organization. So we have people who are blue collars, we have people who belong to the lower end of the spectrum, people with very little income. Although we are an employer that pays above minimum wage, but in the context of our economic situation, those people who are at the bottom end of the spectrum will and are finding it difficult to meet ends. So we made sure that we inform everyone that things are going to be all right. Your organization is going to take care of you. And we made sure that we run our payroll for the month much in advance. So we tried to do it a couple of days earlier than we usually do. That was the first sign of confidence we gave to our people. And we committed to our senior team that we will do that continuously until we come out of this situation. So my finance team, my commercial team have all been actively working towards ensuring that we have our cash flows to support the employees in these times and our suppliers, because we are also operating. When we are operating, our suppliers also have to operate. The next thing we did was to manage our supply chain. For example, we had distributors who had to go out in the market to sell the product. We had our suppliers who were providing us raw materials as well as services. So we kind of secured them. We gave them company basically letters that gave them access to operate in this time, because everybody has been asked to shut down. So that was one of the things we made sure that our supply chains operate. We maintained all the precautionary measures at the factory, and most of our people who were white collars.
I remember we also discussed, you told us about how जो point अब आपकी चलती है दफ्तर से, उसमें भी आप limited लोग बिठाते
हैं. one third people in the vans. So
that's also cost that adds on to your.
It's three times the cost. So if you're operating 1/3 people in a shift van, you're adding that number of vehicles as well. So it's an added cost, and we're obviously taking that cost. That's the add-on that we've taken up. It kills our profitability. It impacts our operating costs, but I think that's lesser of our concern. The more concern is that we make sure we are complying to the regulatory requirements. We are making sure our people are safe while they travel to work, and while they're at work, we're taking as much precautions as we can to make sure the working conditions and the working environment is safe. So the fumigations and the disinfectant sprays, they've increased. We've added more headcount to manage all of that. I mean, those are measures that are legitimate measures to be taken. And without looking at how much impact it will have on our profitability, we've taken those decisions because our aim was to make sure that we are able to provide the health and hygiene products to the market.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'll just tell you, yesterday we were at Mayo Hospital, Lahore, which is one of the biggest hospitals in Punjab. And they are taking care of the COVID-19 patients. They're administering the Expo Center, quarantine center set up by Punjab. So we gave them a donation, and the deputy MS of that hospital, he informed me yesterday that we have people who are coming and donating money. We have people who are coming and donating medical equipment and PPEs. But frankly, this is one thing that we require for many patients, not just the COVID patients. And this eases our operations. So people who are on ventilators can't be shifted to the toilets, and a lot of other patients like that. So it kind of eases their daily routine work. And he said, "I'm very glad that you guys thought of this and you provided that." So I mean, that's the kind of care we are aiming to support our community. People feel proud when you tell them that you're doing this. Employees feel happy when they talk about this to their families, when they talk about this to their network. So it kind of boosts their confidence and their ability to come up to work every day.
Okay. So if I just kind of try and summarize this, and we have a question as well. So सबसे पहले तो हमने अपने networks में tap किया, and we got as much information as we could possibly get to develop a plan कि हमने आगे क्या करना है. And फिर communicate. लोगों से in touch रहें, उन्हें comfort दें, उन्हें ease और certainty देने की कोशिश करें. That's what we're looking at. And obviously सिर्फ अपने लोग नहीं, अपने stakeholders, so हमारे suppliers, हमारी community, and so on and so forth. Now Rabia is here with us, and she says कि एम्प्लॉई मोटिवेशन लेवल के लिए या एम्प्लॉई मोटिवेशन लेवल को बूस्ट करने के लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं, which is a common problem because कल की चैट में भी I remember a lot of people that were there were saying कि मोरल जरा लो हुआ है, घर पे काम होता नहीं है, परेशानी सी है. तो how have we maintained that?
I think the way I see it, motivation is either intrinsic or extrinsic. In the times of COVID-19, where you're actually stuck at home, for most of us, there has to be unique ways to motivating ourselves. When you talk about employees, so for example, if I have to make sure that all my employees are motivated, what do? For every of my 250 people, motivation would mean something else. For a majority of them, it would mean some monetary incentive for them to come to work during the COVID-19 period. We took care of that. So we provided an incentive to people who will be required to come every day to work. So is that something that every company could do? I don't know. It requires money in your pockets. It requires a positive mindset to see, you take care of those people in an exceptional way. Is that the only thing that you can do? No. So for the people who we require to work every day from our factory or from our sales offices or from the market, we have introduced an attendance incentive plan. I don't want to go into the details of that, but it's something that those people will have a monetary benefit of towards the end of the year. So that's one. For others, so number one, we have tried to maintain continuous communication with our people. So instead of encouraging people to talk amongst themselves, feed negativity into each other, there's lots of inflow of all kinds of information, negative talk, rumors. So it's exactly, social media is frankly is suicide. If you're spending X number of hours on social media, that's suicide, because what it does is it contaminates your mind. It doesn't nurture your mind at all. So one of my advice that I've given at least to my team, and we were discussing very frequently with the senior team, is that we will not share any negative information on our WhatsApp groups. We will not share any negative information on during the calls. And what we try to do is we try to talk to people, tell them what we are doing. So we're not doing anything negative, alhamdulillah. We've decided that we will talk positive. We will take constructive steps to continue to operate. We will engage with the community as we are doing, and we will showcase that to our people. We have asked our employees, anyone who feels they have symptoms. So it's a trusting environment that we have created. Just yesterday, one of our colleagues has informed us that they have been informed that they got in touch with X person in during the course of work, and that person has come out positive of COVID-19. So, although that person is a field employee, the person was honest enough to report it immediately, and we asked him to stay in quarantine as the standard operating procedure tells us to. And that person has already informed us. We will keep check of his health. We can also ask that person to isolate themselves when they're at home. And you know how the law is. So if anybody is found positive or they have symptoms, they have to report it to the government as well. So the state is looking after every person. They need to report themselves. So we're trying to create that trust environment. And we have given our people all the necessary tools to operate. So anybody who was working with a desktop and now they have to operate from home, we provided them with a laptop. Anybody who did not have internet to operate, we provided them with internet. Anybody who was supposed to make pay orders and bank documents and we asked them to take the office printer and set it up at their home. So this is the kind of, these are operational interventions that we made to make sure people remain functional. There are people who will be required to be in the field. What we did was, get your N95 mask, get it reimbursed. We didn't take that effort to, because, things that are not available readily, we can't, as an organization, we can't organize to buy them. Certain people who were supposed to report to the factory, who were coming during the off days, we made sure that we gave them an allowance for food. So because we weren't serving food in the factory during those lockdown days, we made sure that those people get adequate food for themselves. So we gave them monetary amounts to ensure that they feed themselves well. So these are the kind of interventions that you have to do. It creates positivity. It shows your employees that the employer is caring. They are concerned. So nitty-gritties, one guy said, I can't come from my factory. I can't come to the factory. He lives in Shah Faisal. He said, the police will beat me if I take my motorcycle out. They will come, impound my motorcycle. We arranged a vehicle for that person to be picked up, and he's a security guard. So we made sure that he reaches the factory.
So I think the key word here is that we have to care. हम जिन लोगों के साथ काम कर रहे हैं वो इंसान हैं, उनकी भी जिंदगियां हैं. वो इस वक्त खुद भी परेशानी में है. सिर्फ इदारा परेशान नहीं है, हो सकता है उनके घर पे लोग हों जो इम्यूनो कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड हों, हो सकता है उनकी अपनी सिचुएशन खराब हो. तो हमें वाकई लोगों की फिक्र करनी है. एंड जस्ट बिफोर आई मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हिच इज अ लंबा सवाल है ना, भारी सवाल. विद रबिया, आई थिंक another thing that we have to try and do with work from home is कि हम कोशिश करें कि गुफ्तगू को सिर्फ काम के अराउंड ना रिवॉल्व कराएं, क्योंकि जब हम दफ्तर होते हैं ना तो हम अपने लोगों के साथ जरा हंसी मजाक और कर लेते हैं ये चीजें. तो just something that I picked up yesterday from our guest was कि 11 AM कॉल एक schedule हुई है Amazon में, and that 11 AM call is a no work call. वो रोज 11 से 12 बजे तक एक चैनल है जो ऑन हो जाता है. सबका उस पर जाना जरूरी नहीं है, लेकिन जो भी जाना चाहे वो जा सकता है. तो आप हफ्ते में 1 दिन चले जाएं, 2 दिन चले जाएं, 4 दिन चले जाएं. देयर इज नो जजमेंट. अगर आप हफ्ते में 5 दिन भी उधर ही बैठे हैं तो कोई आपसे ये नहीं कहता कि भाई काम नहीं है तुम्हारे पास करने को. नहीं, वहाँ लोग बैठते हैं, एक दूसरे से काम के अलावा जो भी गुफ्तगू है वो करते हैं. एंड देन समटाइम्स इट्स फन टू लाइक प्ले लाइक ऑनलाइन गेम्स, एंड आप कुछ सेटअप इस तरह का बनाए जो लोगों को इन्वॉल्व रखे. इफ आई कुड जस्ट शेयर वन विद यू, ये हम इंटरनली कार्नेलियन में भी ये काम कर रहे होते हैं. जब हम काम से अक जाते हैं. So this is just a वो Pictionary type एक कोई website है जिसमें आप जाके room बना के और लोगों को invite कर लेते हो अपने team members को, and you can just then start playing this game. So like little things that keep a lighter mahal, I think are important as well. The next question that we have is from Suhad. Suhad says कि भाई अगर ये lockdown extend कर जाता है महीनों के लिए, तो unemployment बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी across the country. तो आपके ख्याल से, as with your experiences, how do we manage this? How do we manage this wave of unemployment that we'll have? What will happen? How do you think we'll get out of it?
Okay, first of all, as if Suhad is asking this question as an individual, we can only manage our own jobs and our own employment by being productive, by being available, da da da. So the overall economic situation, the unemployment will rise because not every employer, not every organization will have the muscle to sustain beyond April. I'm already interacting with people, especially the textile sector, the retail sector, even the banking sector, IT companies. They have already started laying off people.
Yes.
They have announced 20%, 30% salary cuts across the board.
Yeah.
And frankly speaking, this is, I would not call it unethical, because in the survival of business, all costs will have to be mitigated. Companies will cut their marketing budgets. Companies will cut their recreational budgets. They will cut their training budgets.
Yeah.
I think that's, from a company perspective, that these are all normal measures that they will have to take to survive. We should not consider those employers sinners who are doing these things, unless they're just, that's the only thing that they're doing is laying off people. Those employers, I would call them sinners, because laying off people should be the last
thing that
cost-cutting measure that employers should take.
Yeah.
The other important angle or perspective to this is, this situation has created an awareness amongst employers to see where they stand. Are they designed to operate at optimum levels? Are they designed to be agile? These are questions that employers should ask them.
Yeah.
We have hundreds of workers. Wouldn't it be great if we have enough automation to create opportunities for people to work more productively, to support, with support of technology? And at the same time, technology means removal of manual work, which would mean removal of manual labor in a lot of cases. But again, what will those people do? They will eventually get unemployed. If you follow the digital age, the future of work, it is evident in the next 5 years, we will have 20 to 30% jobs completely removed from the face of this earth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how are we preparing? As an HR person, I know there will be a time when most of my work will be done through technology, and I will just be an enabler.
Yeah.
I will just be making decisions. So how secure is my job? Is a question that I have to ask myself. Frankly, we should ask this question to ourselves. Are we skilled to take on the future of work? We have to, that's a separate discussion altogether. But in the spirit of unemployment, it will rise. And this is something that is happening at the global level. It's not just Pakistan.
Absolutely.
What will happen? What will happen to those people? Frankly, number one concern should be the individuals themselves. And number two, this is a concern for the state. This is a concern for the provincial governments. Lots of unemployment would mean lots of businesses will also be closing down. It's not just that people will be unemployed. Businesses will close down, services will close down. But I was listening to a video by Goldman Sachs today. One of their guys, he said, this is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity to make money. This is a great opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree to the money making part, but I do agree to the part of reinventing yourself.
Absolutely, 100%.
And reinventing would mean for us unlearning a lot of things and relearning a lot of things. So the relearning part is easy, the unlearning part is difficult. And as a trainer, Asif, you would agree, it's more difficult to erase things, um,
Yes.
and
Yes.
learning new things is easier.
Yes.
So are we capable of doing that? Are our minds capable of doing that? No, it's not. It's very difficult to accept change. It's very
And
difficult to
it's
change
a
behaviors.
it's a lamba process that you now have to squeeze in. जो आप सोचते थे ना कि यार हम
We
15
have been
साल बाद,
forced.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
have been
yeah,
forced,
yeah,
Asif.
yeah,
It's a phenomena that we have to realize. Yesterday, I was telling my son, he used to study for 7 hours in school, and now he's just studying 3 hours or 2 hours. So he's enjoying the luxury, and I told him, look, you have to do the same amount of work in the
work,
3 hours.
yeah,
So don't consider this that you're just working for or studying for
yeah,
3 hours.
yeah.
I mean, you have to inculcate and understand that change.
Hmm.
It's a behavioral change. It's a psychological
It's the
change.
mindset change.
It's an emotional change.
Yes, big one.
Your it's important because my wife sees me 12 hours in the day. She wasn't used to seeing me 12 hours a day.
Yes.
uh, and I unless I lock myself in the room, I am up for so many arguments and so many
Yeah.
fights and so
Yeah.
many additional work that I have to do. And it's
बल्कि
normal
मुझे
because
सॉरी, मुझे अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ना ये सुहाद और सबा की वजह से डांट पड़ी है। मैंने ये ऑन किया था, ये लोग टाइम से पहले आ गए थे, तो मैंने इनसे पूछा
जी
भाई
जी जी
आवाज तो नहीं आ रही बाहर, वो बच्चे बच्चे खेल रहे हैं, तो कहते हैं हाँ हाँ आवाज आ रही है। अब इनकी वजह से मैं बाहर गया और फिर मैं डांट सुन के
जी
वापस आ गया कि भाई आवाज तो आएगी, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते। तो तो it's emotional, it's mental, it's physical. There's a lot of tolls on us, which
yeah
we're gonna have
yeah
to, yeah, which we're gonna have to manage and kind of see कि हम उनको कैसे चला सकते हैं। Sana, I think is asking the same question in a different way. Staff costs हैं, revenues affect होंगे, एचआर की हैसियत से हम क्या करें, ले ऑफ्स हो, सैलरी कट्स हो, लीव विदाउट पे हो, ये सारी चीजें इदारे कर रहे हैं सना। आई मीन देयर इज डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो अपनी अपनी रियलिटी में मुख्तलिफ चीज़ें कर रही हैं, मुख्तलिफ तरीके से चीज़ों को मैनेज करने की कोशिश कर रही हैं। बट लाइक अबू बकर भाई सेड, लेइंग पीपल ऑफ और impacting your people that have worked with you should be the last kind of resort. And
Asif, let me add here. Let me add here. I think an important aspect here is uh, in the last 3 weeks, companies that are operating, people that are working from home, have realized that it is not difficult to operate like this. What it is, the bright side to this is that we have been able to realize that having a brick and mortar office, paying X 100,000 rupees of rent and X thousand rupees of electricity bill every month, and having an office boy serving us tea and coffee
yeah, yeah,
and making us feel that we're in a good, we're in good hands.
correct.
All of that is not essential for us to productively operate and
Not,
deliver our business commitments.
yeah,
So what companies and organizations and individuals should in HR see is how we can optimize our operating costs. There are certain overheads that we can remove to ensure that we remain productive, our balance sheet remains above the line, even though our profitability will be hit, our sales targets will be impacted, but we can still survive.
yeah,
This is not doomsday.
yeah,
You have to be intelligent in identifying costs. For example, this is just off of my head. I'm paying 100 liters of fuel to 20 people in my organization uh, that are working from home. They're not coming to work. That is that something that I will continue? Should I continue to do instead of cutting 20% salaries or 30% salaries? These are
hmm,
things that you can look
yeah.
at,
You can look at, yeah,
because this is a job tool that is not required at the moment.
yeah,
There's certain other things, costs associated. Summers are coming, air conditioners are on in the offices for 12 hours, 10 hours. Right now, you're saving all of that operating cost.
yeah,
You're not, my office is, nobody has stepped into the office, my head office in the last 3 weeks.
hmm,
And I'm paying that rent, that space is there, the electricity bills will reduce. no air conditioning, no Nescafes, no everydays, no
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
All of that cost again is saved. How? It's
शुक्र
not
है
that we're saving that cost.
शुक्र है
जी.
every day तो खत्म हो गया.
I mean, I'm not against every days, but it's just that, I mean, there are productive costs that you can avoid
Yes,
and
absolutely.
bring down your operating costs. So again, as an HR person, you need to look at those costs, identify what things we can remove from our trial balance, make sure that we still are able to provide salaries, we are still able to provide the service charges to our service providers, because their support is essential for our survival, for us to operate. So it's just a prioritization of costs that we need to do. And your finance guy should be a great help.
Yes, देखें खर्चे किधर किधर हो रहे हैं फाइनेंस के साथ मिलके and try and see, because it is or it should be the last resort कि आप लोगों को सैलरी कट्स दें या खुदा ना खास्ता आपको ले ऑफ्स करने पड़े. Fatima says B2C companies are far safer than companies in the B2B business. Can we have a better discussion upon what would recovery look like for companies? ठीक है. B2C पे भी मुश्किल है depending on what industry it is. लेकिन B2B companies आमतौर पे दूसरे इदारों को सर्व कर रही होती हैं और वो इदारे खुद शायद B2C होते हैं. तो अगर B2C चल रहा है तो B2B भी चलेगा. कॉन्टेक्स्ट चेंज हो जाएगा. I think this is a very good time for B2B companies to connect with their vision and their purpose, not their methodologies, not their tools, not their process वो क्या इस्तेमाल करते हैं, लेकिन मकसद क्या है काम का. हो सकता है आपको अब नए टूल्स इस्तेमाल करने पड़े, आपको नए मीडियम्स यूज करने पड़े, आपको नए मेथड्स आजमाने पड़े और अप्लाई करने पड़े टू फुलफिल दैट सेम पर्पस, क्योंकि इस वक्त आपके कस्टमर की रियलिटी कंप्लीटली तब्दील हो गई है. तो हाउ डू यू मेक श्योर दैट यू serve your customer even in this context? Having said that, this is easy to say, कहने में बड़ा आसान है. I mean, I'm sure a lot of B2B businesses will struggle. I mean, we've heard already of a lot of B2B businesses sending people on forced vacations या वो without pay leaves and of layoffs as well. पाकिस्तान में भी ये अब खबरें आना शुरू हो गई हैं कि फलां इदारे ने ले ऑफ कर दिया, फलां इदारे ने ले ऑफ कर दिया. तो हालात ट्रिकी हैं. B2B companies, what do you think? How is it different, Abubakr bhai?
देखिए, B2B businesses can be services, can be products as well. So if you look at services, I think the services sector is in a far better shape than the product B2B businesses. For example, मैं आपको मिसाल देता हूँ. Metro cash and carry is characterized as a B2B company. So they are providing goods, and they are providing goods to all kinds of consumers, to industries. So they're thriving. They're doing good business. I know a very senior person in Metro procurement, and I was speaking to him, and he's like, oh, we're able to, we're struggling. We're able to meet the requirements, but again, we're struggling because some of our suppliers are unable to operate. So in that context, certain B2B sectors will flourish, certain won't. For example, IT companies that are supporting the telecom sector, they're supporting the banking industry in terms of their call centers and all of that. Those companies were also asked, until very recently, they were also asked not to operate. But under the Digital Pakistan, we've received a notification just today that all of such services will be resumed and their people will be allowed to operate. And so you will see much better customer service from banking call centers and from mobile service providers. So again, the disruption was there. Now the realization comes when there is a void, the need for that service is instigated again, and that triggers their ability to resume operations. And this is again the blessing in disguise for these service providers. So I think certain industries will be troubled. For example, there has been news on the construction sector. There's been some some information coming in. The federal government, the Prime Minister has announced a relief package for the
Yes.
construction industry. So construction industry is a very big B2B market.
Okay.
What will that mean? It's a sigh of relief. I think it's a ray of hope for the construction sector, people working in that industry, the brick industry, the cement industry, all of that. So there's positive news coming as well. So I would say we should not go into haste. We should exercise patience. Again, there is going to be activity resuming. The world is not ending, God forbid. This is just a virus. It is not a Windows 95 virus that will wipe out everything from your computer. It will become better. And inshallah, we have to first of all tune our minds to think positive.
Yeah.
And there is always a positive aspect to all bad situations. And we should focus on that.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Yeah. What do we learn out of this? What do we get out of this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, we've got 2 comments. Abubakr bhai, you have to leave at 8, right? That's the... Or can
we can. Yeah, I can extend 5-10 minutes.
We can?
Okay,
Okay,
I mean,
fantastic. ठीक है.
yeah.
Azim कह रहे हैं कि the government should also help the employer. They can pay worker welfare fund to support employers for the time being. Okay, जबरदस्त करना चाहिए government को जरूर. Prevention को भी, federal को भी. Fatma कह रही हैं thank you for answering. You're welcome, Fatma. Thank you, Abubakar bhai. Anwar Khurshid, या Anwar Khurshid, I'm sorry अगर मैं आपका नाम गलत ले रहा हूँ. Unfortunately, people working in low-tech companies may get laid off. Global changes change the dynamics of industries. Like after World War II, the bike industry really took off. I agree, and I would like to take that to Abu Bakr bhai as well, because हम लोग 9/11 से पहले भी बड़े थे और देख रहे थे दुनिया को, और हमने 9/11 के बाद भी देखा दुनिया को, और दुनिया तब्दील हो गई. You never went back to pre 9/11. जो बच्चे 9/11 के बाद पैदा हुए हैं उन्हें नहीं पता कि कराची कैसा होता था और पाकिस्तान कैसा होता था. तो आई मीन वो सिर्फ एक 2 ममालिक का मसला था. ये तो पूरी दुनिया में एक इसका इम्पैक्ट है. तो दुनिया तो तब्दील होगी. We will go to something new. It's not going to be the same thing, and I agree with that. Abu Bakr bhai.
देखिए, I'll quote a recent article I read on, I think this was HBR on the CFO forum. 4% of the global CFOs are right now discussing that we will have 4 to 5% of our workforce to work remotely, and around 20% or 19%, if I'm correct, we're talking about having at least 20% of their workforce working remotely. And these are all facts and statistics coming from the North American market.
Yeah.
And why is that so? Because they have realized that during these times we've been operating, and we've been effectively operating. So that means we can operate. We don't have to be physically together every day and spend 12 hours in the workplace, pay X amount of rent, manage. We have 12 people required from security guards to office servers to janitorial people. All of that work. We can survive. So that's the new way of work. It will happen. It will mostly happen in the service industry. It's already happening in the West to a greater degree. It's going to come to our part of the world as well. But how will this change for the average person? An average person again will have to be creative in making themselves employable. Right. When you say employable, you have to be skilled into something.
Yeah.
It can be hard skills that you do manual work. In the US, I've lived in the US. A plumber in the US earns enough as as an IBA graduate would earn after 10 years of corporate life.
Yeah.
And I'm being honest. A person who can do punctures on the tires earns enough to have a decent living. Any Pakistani who's earning 150,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So that's the level of skill. People who have skills, soft skills, trainers, people who can talk, who can do voiceovers. I mean, there's lots of things. People have talents. You have social media now. people are earning lots of money doing TikToks and whatnot, blogs
Oh,
and podcasts, and
unimaginable amount of
so
money.
I mean
Yeah.
that's going to be the future. You don't have to work 9 to 5. You don't have to be slaving your life to somebody and making a living out of it. So people will have to be coached and counseled to look at new ways of working.
Yeah.
I remember I met a person a few months back in Karachi who was a graduate from Karachi University in I don't know, chemistry or something, microbiology or something. He was running a small restaurant, and he was selling ये क्या होते हैं paratha rolls and
हाँ,
tikkas
हाँ, हाँ,
and burgers.
हाँ,
That's all. In Gulistan Johor, and I met him because I was buying something, and this guy was there buying pita bread and dawn parathas and stuff. So I started talking to him because he was also waiting in the queue, and he told me that I'm a graduate from Karachi University and I'm running my restaurant, and I was very inspired. I started talking to him. So he had absolutely no guilt that he was a graduate from in sciences. He was all proud, and
Alhamdulillah.
I made him feel more proud because I think that's the future. uh, you have to let go of your egos. There are certain aspirations and paradigms that you operate in while you're studying for something and
Yeah,
you aspire to become something.
yeah,
The real world is different. So I think you have to be able to take that shock. You have to tune your mind and your emotions to take those shocks. There will be people around us who will be losing jobs. There will be people in our families who will either not be able to earn the same amount of money they were earning, either being traders or businessmen or shop owners or whatever. So I think we have to all come out with creative ways. Either we sustain, and
absolutely,
if we have to sustain, we have to go all out.
absolutely.
Otherwise, we look for alternatives as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's my advice. I mean, I do that too. I've been helping my wife do the dishes. I've been learning new ways of cooking. I don't do anything. I'm very bad at, I'm zero in terms of cooking. The only thing I can do is make tea and boil an egg. That's all. That's me. But I'm pushing myself here. If I have to survive alone, and I have to, I'll be coming back to Karachi without family now, and I'll be living on my own these next couple of weeks. So I'm training myself for that survival.
absolutely, absolutely. And an effort to, जो आपने लफ्ज इस्तेमाल किया, री-इन्वेंट करें अपने आप को।
Yeah,
जो
yeah,
आपने सोचा हुआ था, जो आपके प्लान्स बने हुए थे कि 3 साल बाद भाई इधर होगा, 5 साल बाद भाई इधर होगा, उन सबको भी भूल जाएं। अभी ये देखें कि विद द कैपेबिलिटी यू हैव और आपको एक्सेस है जिन चीज़ों का,
yeah.
उनसे आप क्या कर सकते हैं, व्हाट कैन यू डू, व्हाट एल्स कैन यू बी रेलेवेंट इन। सुहाद कह रहे हैं
Yeah.
कि उन्हें जाना है। खुदा हाफिज सुहाद, खुदा हाफिज। थैंक यू
Hafiz,
फॉर
thank you.
थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। ठीक है, सो यू गोटा लुक एट दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड यू गोटा फिगर आउट कि अच्छा यार इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में मैं कैसे रेलेवेंट हो सकता हूँ।
Yeah, yeah,
मुश्किल होगा, आई मीन आई एम श्योर ये आसान नहीं है, ये बातें बैठ के करना आसान होता है। लोगों की ज़िंदगियों में हमने काम किया होता है, हमने 5 साल 10 साल 15 साल एक ही काम करते हुए लगाया होता है, एकदम से उसको छोड़ के कुछ और शुरू कर देना इज़ परहैप्स नॉट ईजी, बट इट्स अ रिक्वायरमेंट नाउ।
yeah,
इसकी
yeah,
ज़रूरत है, हमें वाकई इसे प्रोएक्टिवली देखना चाहिए। चेंज
yeah,
बिफोर यू हैव टू। अगर अभी काम चल रहा है,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
आप सोचें कि आपने आगे क्या करना है, ताकि आप पहले से ही उसके लिए तैयार हों, आप एंटिसिपेट करें, और जब वो वेव आए तो आप रेडी हो कि अच्छा मैंने इसको किस तरीके से टैकल करना है।
Then you ride the wave. You enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. Anticipate it and then ride the wave. Absolutely. Faria कह रही हैं, who will provide a guide to companies? They might take some wrong decisions and realize it later. बिल्कुल ठीक कह रही हैं फरिया। You and I and everyone else will have to do this job. We have to start having meaningful conversations. हमें लोगों से गुफ्तगू करनी है, हमें सीखना है, पढ़ना है, दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है, लोग किस तरीके से रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं, और बेहतर फैसले लेने की कोशिश करनी है और लोगों को मशवरे देने हैं बेहतर फैसलों के। अबू बकर भाई, अच्छे फैसले कैसे लें, गलत डिसीजंस ना ले लें हम।
देखिए, every one of us has within them a moral compass. That moral compass should be functional. First thing.
Yeah.
Number two, you have to think beyond your own self to be able to empathize, to be able to look into the perspective other people have about their life.
Yeah.
Once you're able to do that, you will be able to make the right decisions. Integrity is very important.
Yeah.
Your integrity basically guides you towards the right thing. And as I said, we all have a moral compass. When हम कोई गलत काम करते हैं, हमें अंदर पता होता है कि यार हमने ये गलत काम किया, हमने झूठ बोला है, हमें पता होता है, हमने अपने बॉस को टोपी कराई है, वर्क फ्रॉम होम कर रहा हूँ सर मैं, और बैठ के नेटफ्लिक्स चल रही है उसी कंप्यूटर पे, तो we know what we do. I mean, the Allah Ta'ala has given all of us a moral compass within us. So that moral compass is always there to guide us to the right decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you are in a position of influence, not everybody will be in a position of influence.
Yeah.
If you are in a position of influence, the moral responsibility is that you just have to think for other people. And you have to take their perspective. You have to make decisions that impact other people. It's a big responsibility. So we have to have a sense of that responsibility, and we have to make those right decisions. So if you are, or anybody you know is in a position of influence, please remind them of this. If you're not in a position of influence, the only thing you can do is be positive, communicate to those people, show concern. Your genuine words of advice or concern can inject the right thoughts in those people who make decisions for you.
Absolutely. I think that was the nail on the head. नेक नियति से काम करें भाई, देखें अपनी इंटेंट ठीक रखें, आप अच्छे के लिए कर रहे हैं. अगर कहीं इन्फ्लुएंस है तो लोगों का सोचें, और अगर नहीं है तो सुन लें, दूसरों की बात सुन लें, उन्हें absorb करें, उनसे सवालात पूछें, see what you can get out of their discussions, and then offer your own perspective as well with good intent. That's what we can do so far. ठीक है. Good session, ठीक है. I've joined late. Good. Continue in the future as well. Thank you very much. Muaz. Azim कह रहे हैं, we HR guys need to create awareness among employees. There will be a lot of trouble and concerns. अजीम आ गए, कह रहे भाई बड़े मसले होने वाले हैं, हमें जो है ना वो अवेयरनेस पैदा करनी चाहिए.
देखिए mitigate करें अजीम. As HR, if we are seen as people who are reacting and the leadership is seen as reactive, then your employees will lose trust. What we need to do is, amongst the situation, we have to create moments of joy for people. अगर आप जिस भी सर्विस सेक्टर में हैं या इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर में हैं, you will have an opportunity to create those moments. So orchestrate करें, moments of joy create करें, moments of pride create करें, make people feel empowered, make people feel responsible, make people feel honored. They should feel pride in what they're doing. If they're coming to work in this situation, they need to know why they're coming. I tell my people, we are there, we are coming to work because people need our products. We're not making jelly mellies or ding dongs or anything. We're making products that make people's life easier. We're providing the comfort.
बैठा होगा अभी अबूबकर भाई, क्या कर रहे हैं?
बैठे हो वो भी जरूरी है, because घर में बच्चे डिंग डोंग खाएंगे. वो कौन सा PSL का प्लेयर था जिसकी वो बबल के बड़े वो कर रहे थे, लाहौर कलंदर्स का था.
हाँ ये.
So I mean, you have to create. I'm not saying that my product is better than your product, but it's important. You have to make your people feel that they're needed. A banker is coming to work. His wife is equally concerned कि आप क्यों जा रहे हैं आज. जितने एक डॉक्टर की वाइफ या एक नर्स का हस्बैंड या एक पैरामेडिक स्टाफ का फैमिली मेंबर होगा. मेरे पेरेंट्स, मेरी वाइफ भी उतने ही कंसर्न होंगे जब मैं when I step out for work. क्योंकि रिलेशनशिप्स तो वही हैं, डॉक्टर के भी वही बीवी बच्चे हैं, हमारे भी वही बीवी बच्चे हैं. The risks are equal. So we have to create that sense of belonging in our organization. And you will have to take care of your people for them to feel that. If you are not doing that, and whatever good talks, whatever motivational talks, whatever news pieces, whatever unity faith discipline you do, it will have surface value only. It will not be deep rooted. So
ठीक है,
conviction और belief बहुत जरूरी है.
केयर के साथ. अजीम, आई थिंक इफ यू आर इन एचआर, आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर आप एचआर में हो तो इस वक्त आप एग्जॉस्ट हुए होने चाहिए, क्योंकि इस वक्त आपको अपने लोगों की रिलेशनशिप्स में इन्वेस्ट करना है, उनके साथ गुफ्तगू करते रहनी है, उनकी बातें सुननी है, उनकी अनसर्टिनिटीज, उनके फियर्स, उनकी होप्स को सुनना है. आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते, बट समटाइम्स इट्स गुड कि कोई सुन ले. सारा दिन वो घर में बैठे होते हैं, उन्हें नहीं मौका मिलता. आमतौर पे वो घरों को चला रहे होते हैं, लोग उन पर डिपेंडेंट होते हैं, वो अपने डिपेंडेंट्स के सामने जाके नहीं कह सकते कि मैं परेशान हूँ, मुझे समझ नहीं.
जी.
So they need someone who will hear them out. So just spend time with people. The psychological aspect is very important. You said absolutely, it's going to be very very essential. I mean already गुफ्तगू होना शुरू हो गई है. I see on social media कि भाई इसके क्या साइकोलॉजिकल इम्पैक्ट्स होंगे जब आप घर पे बैठे रहोगे और आप निकलोगे नहीं, और आपको धूप नहीं मिलती है, आपको हवा नहीं मिलती है. वैसे ही आपकी फिजियोलॉजी के लिए ये चीज़ें अच्छी नहीं हैं. So try and get those things as well, by the way. Put in some activity. Try and see अगर आपको धूप कहीं मिल सकती है, खिड़की में जाके, गैलरी में जाके खड़े हो जाएं. अगर लॉन शॉन है तो लॉन में निकल जाएं. But just focus on these things. I think these things are important. We've got 5 minutes to go. I'm just gonna wrap up now. Abubakr bhai, I just wanna thank everyone here, जितने भी लोग हैं जिन्होंने भी बात सुनी है. Thank you so much guys for being here. आप लोगों के सवालात का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आप लोगों के comments का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. I had a lot of fun. Abubakr bhai भी आए हुए थे, तो it was special. Abubakr bhai, thank you so much for coming in. आप please अगर closing parting words कर दें, तो we'll just.
I think I would just like to say that all of us in our own capacities, we have a very beautiful strength, and that is positive hope that comes to us through different sources. हर किसी की inspiration कुछ ना कुछ होती है. I take my inspiration from my faith, and I take my positivity from my faith, because I know that every bit of my body knows that there is a power that is beyond all of us, who is responsible for whatever is happening with me. And frankly, that brings a lot of comfort to me, to my mind. And we all have this ability to inject positivity if we are positive ourselves. To become positive, it's that easy. It's just a switch that you have to turn on. We all have that switch. Yes, you have to turn that on. And I'll tell you, in whatever you do in your life, you all are into certain relationships. कोई father, mother, बहन, भाई, बेटा, बहुत सारे relationships, and neighbors, colleagues, friends. That's the least amount of neki we can do, is to inject positivity around us. I think we should continue to do that. It is no cost. I tell you, it is no cost. And if you're able to do that, you will become a magnet. People will come to you.
Absolutely.
Because anywhere or anything they do, they will know कि यार इस बंदे के पास जाएंगे, positivity का टीका लगेगा, हम set हो जाएंगे, हम वापस आएंगे. Be that positive injection in the lives of people around you.
Absolutely.
So that's my message.
Oh, that's beautiful words. Thank you so much, Abubakr bhai. I'm just going to read off these last messages. Sabah says, thank you, you're most welcome. Azim says, thank you, you're most welcome. Shirin Naqvi was here. She says, thank you, you're most welcome, Shirin Appa. Nadeem Anwar Saab is here, says, thank you, you're most welcome. Everyone who joined us, Muaz, Fatma, Fariha, Azim, Aisha, thank you so much, guys, for being here. Once again, Abubakr bhai, aapka bhi bahut bahut shukriya. And just all of us need to make sure कि हम रिलेशनशिप्स मजबूत करें, काम पे फोकस करें. ना उम्मीदी वैसे ही कुफर है, आपने होपलेस तो नहीं होना है, आपने काम करते रहना है. और मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ कि भाई ये सीरियसली लें, चेहरे को हाथ ना लगाएं, कोनी में छींकें और हाथ धोते रहें 20 सेकंड के लिए, और सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करें. ये ज़रूरी चीज़ें हैं. आप लोगों के वक्त का अगेन बहुत शुक्रिया. अबूबकर भाई, आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. प्लीज सब अपना बहुत ख्याल रखें. थैंक यू वेरी मच. अल्लाह हाफिज.
अल्लाह हाफिज.
अल्लाह हाफिज.